Now there's a reason why I use 3-foot wide craft paper. That way most of my paint stays on there. But you always got to kind of keep aware. And I didn't pay attention too much the other day because I spilled just a little bit of paint, not very much, a couple little specks and stuff. And I could have gotten that off with just a sponge with the scouring side on there. But you know, a day later I thought, oh, I'll just take some simple green spray on there. And I even took my wire brush. I'll show you. Well, I sprayed some of this on there and trying to take my wire brush on there. Sometimes it'll come off. Okay? Sometimes it won't. And the stuff that won't, I thought, how am I going to get that off? And I just had a 100 grit sandpaper, just a little piece, and I thought, hey, I'll try that. I'll try that, see. There's that big glob right there. That would take me a while to get off, and I had lots of stuff on this before we moved in. There was some old marks on this concrete floor and stuff. I spent hours cleaning and scrubbing with a scrub brush with the Brillo side, and I had 2 different wire brushes, and slowly but surely I got all my stuff. But I should have tried the sandpaper, because here, I'll just spray, just get this wet. I need to get some more simple green in here because it's running out. But you'll see that I got all that stuff off just using some sandpaper. And that was, just using that sandpaper, little piece, did the trick. I thought, hey, every once in a while, if I come up with a tip that I want to share, maybe it'll help you next time on your project. You know, when I get done doing all this painting, I don't want any paint drops on my concrete or anything. In fact, later on, I'm going to end up painting this whole garage. I don't know exactly if I'm going to paint the ceiling flat white or semi-gloss white. I might paint it semi-gloss white. And the walls, instead of white on the walls, I may use the same color that we used in here, you know, the gray. I'll just have to see which paint I have left. And do you know, when I get done, you're not going to see any paint on here. I'm gonna put craft paper down, and then if I get any little droplets of stuff, I'll clean it all up, sweep it all out, and it will look like I was never there. That's how you like it. Now I'm getting ready to paint this door jamb. I put the masking tape up over that, cut it with a nice sharp razor blade. That's my 20-minute label. 20-minute rated label for the door jamb, because this is a 1-hour rated wall. And remember, the door was a 20-minute rated door. Whenever you get ready to install a door between a garage and your condo, apartment, a duplex, house, whatever it is, it's got to be a 20-minute rated door and frame. And you'll know it by the labels. There's a label there, and I was painting this door here. My label is right there. You can't really see it because I've got masking tape over it. And sometimes I see people paint over there, but you shouldn't really do that because there's a stamp on there that signifies where it was milled, which door it was, and how it was built, and all that kind of stuff. And so, see, when I get ready to paint the door frame, I just put the masking tape all around it, nice and clean. And then I got my craft paper here, and I didn't want to cut any, so I just folded it over where I needed it, and I'm just going to leave it like that. You know, and I can move it back and forth just to protect the new vinyl floor planking that we installed. If you get a drip on that, you could you could actually wipe it off and stuff. Same with the concrete, but this is just a little bit added. In fact, when I was painting the door casing, no, when I was cutting in the walls down to the top of the baseboards in here before we installed the flooring, or after, what was it? What did I do? I had to pull this along and paint the trim. Oh, because I didn't have enough time to paint the trim before we put the flooring down. That's what it was. Because I was working upstairs getting ready for the carpet, and I thought, oh, I can paint over the vinyl flooring. In fact, I did most of that. I showed you how to do that with the paintbrush, cutting in the baseboards and painting the baseboards to the bottom of the wall, paint down to the top of the baseboards. I show you how to do that even without having craft paper down on the floor. I don't think I got any drips on there, but hey, just for precautions, get yourself set up like this. I'm not gonna show you how to paint this actual door jamb, but I am going to use this little 2-inch. Isn't that cute? And it's the angled one. See, you can tell that it's on an angle. And it costs about $8 or so. Wooster Pro. Got it at the Home Depot. Most places have them. Okay, I'm going to use that for my cutting in and painting that whole door jamb. And I show you how to paint a door frame on a previous episode. It's kind of tricky to set up the camera and do all that kind of stuff on these, and I showed you how to do that. But see, on this one here, I only have to paint to this edge because when I was smart when I got ready to paint all the walls and the door frames on the inside of the condo. I painted the door frames before I cut in the walls. What did I do? I think I painted the walls first and left a little small area around that and the ceilings and stuff. Then I came back, painted the door frames, okay? And that way I didn't have to cut in the white paint to the gray, and got a little bit of white sloppage on the wall. And then when I cut in the wall to the door frame, I cut that in because that was easier to cut in the drywall to here rather than cut in this little edge all the way down. You see what I'm saying? And so when I did the garage door frame, I did the same thing. I just painted up to here because I knew I was going to be painting the whole door and frame later. Okay, so I've already painted this edge. Same thing over here later on down the road. I'm gonna paint this, and I'm gonna paint the side of the door jamb. Just up to there. I'm gonna take the weather stripping off, paint that little section. But at least I know I don't have to paint this from this edge to the wall because I've already done that over to there. So it makes it easier for me to finish up this. And I also went the extra effort before I painted these door frames to caulk the tops. You'd be surprised. Lots of door frames, the painters don't caulk the top, and you'll generally, half door frames that I looked at, maybe 3/4, they always have a hole up there where they didn't caulk it. Nobody's ever going to see that. We don't have to do that. What do we have to do that for? Well, there's a couple reasons why you should do that. Is to prevent any air from coming up under the floor because there's a crawl space underneath this floor, and for it to come out into your house in the winter, in the summer, and also every once in a while, if you get ants or something, they want to get up into your house. Lots of times I'll see ant trails at the top of doors. Son of a gun, it's because somebody didn't caulk the top. Now granted, you're still going to have ants inside the wall if you have it down underneath the floor or something like that, but at least you're not going to get them coming up and out. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but because if you see the ants coming out, you can treat it and with some ant baits that they'll eat and take right back to the ant colony. Then you can caulk the tops after the fact. But that's only if you're before you get ready to paint or something. But I wanted to get this all done. I caulked the top of everything, okay, before I painted the walls or before I painted the door jambs. I can caulk that after I paint the walls, because usually I'll paint the walls first and leave the little line around the doors, around the ceilings and all that. Then you can come back, caulk that before you cut in your door frames and that kind of thing. Okay, so that's what I'm getting ready to do. And you can follow on a previous episode where I painted all of the doors to the condo and the door frames and all that kind of stuff. And you'll pick up some tips along the way. But you know, when you paint, I'm not going to show you. I'm going to just talk a little bit more. When you paint, if you're going to use a paintbrush, and see, there's really no other way to do door frames, because you got all the nooks and crannies and the edges and stuff. There's no way I could paint this thing with a roller, a mini roller, could I? None whatsoever. Even if I try to paint all the ridges with a paintbrush, then come back and try to just hit the roller here, just hit the roller here. And then going all the way down, it's just virtually impossible. You know what I mean? And so I don't normally do with the roller. Okay, I could maybe hit this wide section with the roller after I do the paintbrush and cut in at the top and have this the last section or something. After I cut in from the bottom up, maybe an inch, and the top down and all that. But see, usually when I paint a door frame, there's so many different layers and edges that you get. It's like, where do I stop? And where do I start? And how am I going to get this done? How am I going to get it all even? Because all your door frames are done with semi-gloss paint generally. And it's hard to get a good flow on there. And you don't want to, once you start painting an edge, like this edge here, you don't want to stop and do everything else down to there and then go from there down, because then it's hard to blend in wherever you stop. So usually whenever I start, I like to end. So like on a door frame, I'll first go around and paint that inside edge, because that's kind of tricky to get.